by police officers in the area that I was sleeping in. The officer told me the park was closed. It has a 1 o'clock curfew. I told the officer I don't have nowhere to go. So normally you guys give summonses, give me a summons and let me go back to sleep. The officer got upset and he arrested me. He charged me with disorderly conduct. They took me to the precinct, they did their paperwork, and then they came to the cell and got me out and they told me that they were going to fingerprint me. So I refused to be fingerprinted. And I cited CPL, for you legal people, CPL 160.10, which says that if you're only, it says first and foremost, section 160.10, fingerprinting duties of police with respect thereto. Only if it is a felony or a misdemeanor defined in the penal law, or a misdemeanor defined outside the penal law, which would constitute a felony. That is the only time police are supposed to ask for fingerprints. Disorderly conduct is a violation, therefore they didn't need my fingerprints. But they still asked for them, I refused. They send me down to central booking, criminal court, without fingerprints. And the judge, when I got before the judge told me, we can't arraign you without fingerprints. Despite of 160.10, we can't arraign you without fingerprints. So I sat in central booking for 7 days. Yes, 7 straight days. Finally, the judge ordered my fingerprints be taken by force. She signed the order, I was served in the cell, and the officers came and took me up and they took my fingerprints by force. Wow. When I finally got before the judge now released me, made me come back to court. Once again, this is a violation, not a crime, and I'm being treated like a criminal already. I already served 7 days like if I'm a criminal for nothing. When I go back to court, the legal aid who was appointed, I gave them a little of my knowledge. I cited CPL 140.45, which says that the criminal accusation or the accusatory instrument, which is the complaint by the officer, is insufficient on its face because it's not a crime. Therefore, you can't have an accusation that's not criminal before a criminal court judge. The judge dismissed the case. Maybe a month later, October 2008, I was in that same place sleeping, and I was approached again by the same officer who arrested me once again. And this time, because he understood that I knew what I was talking about when he first arrested me, he charged me with disorderly conduct, and then he tacked on resisting arrest, which is a misdemeanor. Right. So, I repeated the same cycle, only this time I spent 10 days in central booking for refusing to give my fingerprints. Now the reason being is that even though I was charged with a misdemeanor, which is resisting arrest, the top charge was disorderly conduct. Now since that's a violation, I couldn't be resisting arrest from something I shouldn't have been arrested for in the first place. So after the 10 days, once again, I was told to come back to court. You know, they refused to simply acknowledge what I knew what I was talking about and throw it out. Eventually, the case got dismissed, and I, in turn, filed civil suit against the city and the police department. And, you know, not to put fear in any of you legal people, but a couple of the lawyers are also being sued for not doing what I requested that they do on my behalf. They're also being sued. Needless to say, when I go back to Central Park now, the police don't bother me anymore. When I go to criminal court now, the legal aids and the New York this is mostly here in Manhattan, so New York County Defender Services and legal aid don't want to represent me anymore. That's my story.